Okay, story time, everybody. Are you ready? So, this is a story about a client that I'm working with. And to preface this, I am not saying to not take care of your plants and pets and kids. Alright? But what this client taught me, I love learning from my clients. It just seems like a theme lately that I'm learning as much from them as they're learning from me. But this client is a college student working with me for the summer. They're going to school for horticulture. And as a backstory here, it's really neat. I've worked with this whole family. His mom referred him to me, and her husband was a longtime client. And then their daughter also was a client a couple summers ago. But so that's neat, first of all, to be able to work with the whole family at different times. And I don't take that lightly that they trust me. They've all had great results, but it's because of the hard work they put in, and that feels nice. But so back to the horticulture student. We were going through nutrition. Okay, I walk through the basics of nutrition and do some habits coaching in nutrition for all my clients. We were going through nutrition and talking about macronutrients that are important for humans to thrive. Macro being large, micro being small. The nutrients that we need in larger amounts to thrive as human beings are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Of course, we want the healthier versions of those, but it was interesting because when I mentioned these macros to this 21-year-old horticulture student, he said, "Oh, did you know that plants have macros too?" And I was like, "Wow, no, I hadn't thought of that. Tell me more." And so then he explained to me that nitrogen, phosphorus, I think it's sulfur, magnesium, some of these are the macronutrient groups that plants need to be healthy and strong. And it struck me because, they will do tests to figure out if the plants have those macronutrients that they need in the right ratios. All right. It struck me because we may take better care of our plants than we do ourselves at times. Like if we have plants or pets, we're making sure they always have water. And if we're taking extra care of our plants, we're going to make sure they have those right macronutrients. Most fertilizers have those macros in them in the right amounts for your plants. But so it's interesting because it's also that simple for us. We can overcomplicate the shit out of nutrition, but really if we go back to those basics for general health, we want to have 40% healthy carbohydrates, 30% protein, 30% healthy fats. And yes, it's just, I feel like we are complicated houseplants at times. We have lots of emotions and stories around nutrition. But if we go back to the basics, that is where it's at. We just need to make sure that we're giving ourselves adequate water and the macronutrients that we are meant to thrive on. If a plant is dying, we are going to, or it's just not healthy, We're going to give it what it needs. But yet, so many of us are not giving ourselves the basic building blocks for health in our nutrition or even in other areas of our health. We want to be moving every day. We want to get some sunlight. Honestly, sunlight is good for a human being, just as it is for plants. It's also interesting that some of the macronutrients we need too. But, so yes, that's my story. Use it for your benefit today. Take care of the simple things that help you thrive. And I just wanted to say it's a great day to be alive. Right? We can look at today as a miracle if we want to, or we can look at it as another day to survive. Right? If I said I'll give you $1 million, but you won't wake up tomorrow, I bet you wouldn't take that $1 million. You wouldn't take that deal. That means your life